Hey, everybody, on today's episode of the Hot Fitness Podcast, we're going to be interviewing Tara Gray, who went through our 15-week at-home challenge and then continued on with one-on-one live online personal training. So listen to this girl's story. Listen to how she lost 50 pounds in a matter of weeks. It's an amazing story. I hope you guys enjoy it. She is an awesome person, and you're going to like this one. Stay tuned.
Make it, and then I cooked them all, so everybody was excited. In fact, one of my good friends that went with me, she's like, I just want to say thank you for cooking all those meals because I didn't put on any weight while we were at the dog show.
That's fucking cool. I mean, that's a good skill set to have, because when I went on my trip cross country, I found a cooler that plugs in to the cigarette lighter, you know, like a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't keep food as cold as I was hoping it would, so like 4 or 5 days in, it started to spoil. And I basically had to go grocery shopping again and recook once I got to my Airbnb. But it lasted for the first 3 days because, you know, I kind of pre-froze everything, or it was really cold for
yeah.
there. And then, And then I left it plugged into my truck overnight while I was camping instead of taking it out and plugging it into the 110 outlet at the camping site. And so it killed my truck battery, and the food got, you know, it wasn't kept cold all night. And so yeah, I learned a few lessons for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. You want to dig into it? You want to just I'm gonna
Sure.
ask you questions, probably about like the 15-week challenge, working with Courtney, ups, downs, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, stuff like that, and just what your experience has been like. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm happy to share. You know, one of the things I think you may have seen my post on Facebook. But one of the things I've shared with Courtney is, you know, when I first started with the 15-week challenge, it was almost a joke when I would post my picture after walking, because my dad would tell me, oh, you know, I don't believe that you're walking unless I see a photo of it. My parents are in Pennsylvania. And so I would post it. And then I was like, who wants to see a silly, sweaty selfie? You know, nobody cares that you've walked 3 miles or 2 miles or whatever. It doesn't matter. And I actually had a ton of people reach out to me when I stopped posting the picture, and they were like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, you were really inspiring me to exercise or to eat better or to, you know, change something. It just a million different things that they were saying. And I was like, you know what, if my sweaty selfie can inspire one person a day, it's worth taking that and posting it on Facebook. And you know, if that's what it can achieve. So that's why I've continued to do it.
Yeah, and you know, the crazy thing is, because I've been in online, you know, personal training for about somewhere between 5 and 7 years now, with an online presence, and you know, kicking information out there, nutritional information, fitness information, sharing my own post-workout selfies and stuff like that, and trying to be inspiring or, you know, motivate somebody else. And one thing that I learned is, like, there's a ton of people that, like, were following me that weren't hitting the like button and weren't commenting and weren't engaging, that I really didn't know about until, like, do take some time off from doing it. And then it was people like I never even, and then I was like, I didn't even realize you even seen my stuff. That they did, you know, just because they weren't engaging or whatever all the time. It's like that you don't know what you got till it's gone type of like a thing. And like, and if you don't even realize you're a part of these people's day, you know, like they like seeing.
Right. I don't think I have any effect on, I mean, some of the people that message me are family. Yeah, sure. Some are friends. And then there was other people that, I mean, were, I guess you could say, social friends, you know? Yeah. And not that we speak or anything like that. And, you know, I might like a picture of theirs or make a fun comment or something like that. But, you know, one of my college friends that we talk from time to time, but not a great deal, she sent me a private message the other day. She was like, man, I don't know how you're doing it, but you look amazing. I'm so proud of you. And I'm half jealous. And I was like, really? Like, you check those too?
All right, let's start back at the 15-week challenge. All right, that's where you're,
okay.
Isn't that kind of how we all kind of came together? Was it 15-week challenge?
Yeah, so Courtney sent me the link to the 15-week challenge. It was like, hey, you know, I think this is something that's in your ballpark that, you know, we're friends outside of this. And so she knows, you know, a little more about what's going on in my day-to-day life and that sort of stuff. She goes, I think this is something in kind of your wheelhouse that you know, you're totally capable of. I know how dedicated you are and how much you'll stick to a plan. I think this would be cool for you. And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for something because I don't know what to do when it comes to working out. Like, I'm lost. I can keep the nutrition part in pretty good order.
Yeah.
But when it comes to working out, and it's really easy to lie to yourself. It's not easy to lie to somebody else. So it's really easy to be like, oh yeah, I did that. Sure. Yeah, I did. I did that workout.
Yeah.
And then, you know, somebody says to you, or somebody's holding you accountable, whether they ask you or not, you know, it's like in school, a teacher, right? You know, if they're holding you accountable for your work, you have to do it. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you jumped into the COVID, like, I don't want to call it the COVID challenge, the 15-week at-home challenge when COVID like hit and like all the gyms were shutting down, and like we were afraid, like, because we were feeling it already, like as a company, as a team, and just as friends, since fitness is such a huge part of our life, and not being able to get into our own gym that I own, you know, we were forced to close it for a while. And so it was like a funk, just a mental psychological funk, when it's just like, for me, there's a lot of mental health aspects that go into why I personally exercise, you know, and do different things. It's for a lot of mental health stuff. And so, take us through the 15-week. Like, what was your experience? The ups, downs, challenging, intensity level, the yoga, like what all did you participate with? Be honest, what did you not participate with? And just like, you know, how was your experience?
So I have to say Thursday nights, which was most of the time your night, Curtis, I didn't make the live workout, but I have class Thursday night. I have an online class. So it wasn't that I didn't want to. It was that I was actually trying to study, even though I didn't want to. But the 15-week challenge was great. For me, coming into it, you know, so a year ago, January, I had a knee replacement. I'm young, I'm 37, you know, so that's not something that any 30-something-year-old usually has to deal with. But previous to that, even like for 10 years previous to that, I couldn't have walked a mile pain-free. And so it wasn't like working out was like, okay, I can do this, this, and this, but these things are off limits. And so with having, I guess, a new lease essentially on kind of what am I capable of? What can I do? You know, the 15-week challenge really helped me identify all of that. I participated in every live, whether it was live while it was happening or like yours, I usually participated on I just watched it later because I was in class when you did it. And then every day I did the exercises and I started to walk because I was like, okay, I need something else. Like working at home, like you said, there's a mental relief that I don't even think I took into consideration before. If you had told me, oh, if you go walk for a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 5 miles, that, you know, you're going to feel better. And I would be like, yeah, I'll feel tired. So I started walking, and I live in the country, so I can go walk on a dirt road and not be bothered by anybody, whether COVID's around or not.
Right.
So I started walking, and at first I started with a mile, and I was like, oh, I can do that. Okay, let's see what I can do now. Let me try 2 miles. Let me try. Okay, now how fast can I get done 2 miles? I can't run. That does cause pain. Not that I physically can't, but if I'm running, there's a problem usually. So, but you know, walking was really good. And so then I figured I drove the path that I was going to walk. I was like, okay, I want to know exactly how far this is. And it's 3.2 miles.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, it's like doing a mini 5K every day. And, I started doing that every day. And my goal was, okay, I want to do this 5 days a week. And I'd say 95% of the time I was able to meet that goal during the 15-week challenge. There were some weeks where I couldn't, whether it be weather. I have found that a treadmill is not the same as getting to go walk outside, but
no, it's not.
There's some sort of huge mental relief when you get to go do that walk outside and do those exercises. And then it just kind of became a little bit addicting. I never would have thought I liked yoga ever. I'm not a flexible person.
Yeah.
And yoga was actually a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And the more I did it, right? The more I did it, the more I liked it. And I was like, man, it's a good thing I didn't make any bets on this because I'd lose.
Yeah,
Um,
I did make a bet and I lost. Yeah. Yeah, day one. I could like the yoga was probably the most challenging part of it for me because I'm more acclimated to bodybuilding and some light cardio stuff like that. So when it came to the 15-week challenge during the yoga part, I remember the first day, like I'm trying to do an isometric hold where I'm all opened up and I'm on like it's like a side plank, when you're on her hand. Then she had us open up our chest and reach towards the ceiling and all this stuff. And I started trembling, like trembling. And I was like, what is going on? This is what I was putting my body in positions that I don't normally put it into every day for real. And
yeah.
I mean, I was Charlie horsing in places and muscles I forgot I had. So it was, I was telling a buddy today, like, uh, he was asking me about what my new routine is going to be and what it's going to look like. And I said, honestly, at this point I turned 40 in December, and I've done pretty good with developing muscle mass. I know I could probably put on another 20 pounds, but I just don't know that. What I want to focus on is probably heavy lifting about 3 days a week. And then I do enjoy jump rope cardio and like punching the bag and stuff like that. It's short intervals, like 30 minutes. I started walking a little bit. I said, I think I'm going to make yoga at least 2 days a week part of my routine and make it just something over the next year that I try to get decent at. Like maybe not a pro, but I really enjoyed the challenge, the flexibility, the isometric holds. I thought it was really healthy. And
The balance was another thing. Like, I mean, Courtney makes it look so easy.
yeah, she
And,
does.
you watch her do it and you go, oh, that can't be that hard. And you go to do it. And I'm like falling over. And it got to where when I first started yoga, I had to do it in my bedroom between the foot of my bed and my dresser. So I had something on either side to be able to kind of catch me.
Right.
But I was just like, how can this be so hard? But it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Opened me up to things that I would
Yeah.
have probably not tried otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I could say the same. And shoot, I own the company, but yeah, I wasn't doing yoga before the 15-week challenge, but it's
Yeah.
definitely been introduced to my life, and the more like and we're really lucky to have Courtney as a part of the team because she does have a lot of diversity with that kind of like the disciplines in fitness that she could bring to the table, and so we're working on putting out a 3-phase yoga program, a beginner, an intermediate, and then an advanced yoga program that we can put out there for people. Because the biggest thing is finding what you enjoy, and then get your results and keeps you healthy. I tell people that all the time. Like there's so much diversity from human to human. You got to find what you enjoy doing that keeps you active, keeps you healthy, and works for you.
Yeah.
I like to
No,
cross
absolutely.
train. I like to dabble in a little bit of everything. I need to get more than a toe into yoga though, because that's about all I've gotten into it so far. Because it kicked my butt. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more of it. So,
Yeah, the hits were another thing that I really, really liked. That I think I went into it thinking, oh, there's going to be so much I can't do. Like I can't kneel.
yeah,
Uh, I can't kneel on the surgical leg. So if it's something that requires kneeling and you don't want to just do it on one side and not on the other.
hmm
And so, she really was able to help me, and all of the trainers were able to help me with, modifications, or through watching modifications you guys provided. I was like, okay, well, I can't quite do it this way, but I think I can do it that way. And so like I would do it and maybe send a message or a picture or a video and be like, am I doing this right?
yeah,
Am I getting the goal of the muscle, or what what we're supposed to be working on with that? So that was really nice to be able to have. I couldn't say any better things about the 15-week challenge. I wish there was another one starting.
yeah. And I mean, we'll probably do another one. It'll probably be all in app now that we have the updated app where we could do that, and then we can link it to Zoom and do it that way. But yeah, like with the injuries though, like I see that every single day, and I have probably at least 30 conversations a week with people that aren't necessarily training with us. But one of the biggest things I hear is people are afraid because of an injury or a past surgery, and their mind has convinced themselves, which is natural. I mean, once you're injured, you don't want to re-injure yourself because you have that like PTSD almost from the injury, from the pain, from that experience. And you don't want to go through it again. And so you really like baby that leg. Let's say it was a knee injury. So you really baby that leg. But what happens over time, if you do that for too long, then you become imbalanced. So now your opposite leg has become dominant. It's become way stronger. Why this one is like becoming almost atrophied. It's the muscles are
Yeah,
shrinking, they're
absolutely.
weakening. And so while it can be scary, the rehabilitation process from injury is almost imperative to ensure that there isn't more injuries that come from muscular imbalances in the future. Because if you're always leaning to the right, always standing on the right leg to avoid this knee or something like that, eventually 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, your body's going to express that you're out of balance, and it's going to lead to a different type of injury in the hips maybe, and the opposite ankle, something. And so, but that's a big psychological challenge. So I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people face that. I've had a shoulder surgery before, and I was real hesitant when I got back into bodybuilding, because at that time I wasn't even a personal trainer. It was an on-the-job injury, and I was just getting into weightlifting. I hadn't got a certification yet. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I got hurt on the job, and I was out for like a year on workman's comp and stuff. It was a torn labrum, and I remember being really scared to lift after that and to pursue my goals. But luckily I had a great physical therapist that kind of walked me through that. And since then we became best friends. So he's still in my life, and I'm his trainer now. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. So like now I get to pick his brain all the time for like his doctorate degree in, human physiology and stuff. And then he gets to get me whipping him into shape and stuff, because him and his wife are trying to have a kid now. So he's trying to lose a little weight again and get back into training and stuff and get that male vitality back. So it's been, him and I have been friends for years. So you won, correct me if I'm wrong. So after the 15-week challenge, what were your results like in the 15-week challenge? Let's start there.
So the very 15-week challenge, Courtney messaged me and she said, okay, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve in this 15-week challenge? And my exact words to her were, I know that I shouldn't look at a scale number, but that is the best way for me to measure it in my mind.
Sure.
I said, I really want to lose 40 pounds.
Right.
And that's my goal. I said, I've calculated out it's 2.2 pounds a week. So I can do that. I said, now, given that I'm probably not going to lose 2.2 pounds every week, there may be weeks I lose 5, there may be weeks I lose none.
Yeah.
I said, but, if I average it out for 15 weeks, that's what I would have to lose. And she said, okay, that's good. And so, the beginning of the challenge, I had been working a lot on my nutrition for the past couple of years and trying to understand and grasp how my body utilizes it, and what my body likes to hold on to forever, and what it doesn't. And so I kind of I feel like I had a head start on that portion. But the workout stuff I did not. I had no experience with. I mean, you'd probably laugh if you saw me going to the gym. I have a gym membership, and if I go in there, I'm like, I know how to do that machine. Sure, I'll go do that one for 20 times. Why not? Yeah. And I didn't have a path, right? It was just like, I know how to do that, or I know what that does. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
And so that was something that I learned a lot from the 15-week challenge. And my results at the end of the 15-week challenge were incredible. I'm so glad that Courtney made me take the pictures, because at first I was like, I don't want to take pictures. I'm embarrassed. When I started, like, I don't want to look at this again. And she's like, well, you have to have it to start to know where you got. And I was like, I know, you're right. Fine.
Absolutely.
And I was so glad that I listened and did it, because I was able to achieve that 40-pound loss. And the physical results, looking at the pictures side by side, were incredible.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And so essentially when it came to the transformation, we thought the same thing. We thought your transformation was incredible in just a short amount of time. 40 pounds off, body changed tremendously. And so, we wanted to give out awards and rewards, or whatever they're called, prizes. Yeah, prizes. And so, and we gave them in different categories. We didn't want everyone just to be focused on what they accomplished with their physique or different things. We rewarded people for their engagement, for like the really motivational people that were super supportive during the 15 weeks, got stuff. We mailed out, tons of merchandise and stuff to people. But for you, because it was such a profound transformation in such a short period of time, Then you got awarded, I forget how long, but with Courtney, right? Live sessions with Courtney.
Yes, I did. I think it's a month, I think is what it was,
Yeah.
with of training with Courtney. And, you know, the week after, so I remember you were going to give prizes out, and I was like, damn, I have to get to my phone. I want to see, you know, who got what and what's going on. And I missed the actual like live of you doing it, but I, you know,
Yeah.
came in on the end of it and was able to watch a recording on it. And you know, watch everybody, and I couldn't agree more with people that were motivating on there. They really were. You know, they were always people chiming in saying, "You're doing awesome. You're doing this." I was probably a little quieter in the group itself, but I was super focused.
Yeah.
I, you know, really, I wanted to achieve these goals like nobody's business, and so I remember at the very end of the video, you're like, "All right, the grand prize is Tara," and I was like, "What? Me? Like this Tara?"
Yeah.
And I was in tears. I was just like, "Oh my God, I can't even believe that." And it was awesome, and it's been awesome. I think I'm in the third week.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So third week of personal training, and it's amazing. I love one of the things Courtney asked me, she goes, "Did the lives help you? Like having those 2 live sessions a week help you?" And I was like, they do wholeheartedly, because you can push me to do things that I might question myself on.
Yeah.
Or if I'm getting weak in something, I'll be like, "Oh, I can, you know, I don't have to push that hard." I was like, but I have to push that hard if you're there. And then I hold myself accountable on the other days to make myself push that hard. And so, you
Yeah.
know, kind of the plan we came up, she had to pull my leash back a little bit and be like, "Hey, you have to give yourself a day of rest."
Yeah.
And so I've been doing the 2 lives with her, 3 days on my own, doing the workout she provides. And
Yeah.
then I do the walk 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I
Walking.
was doing it 7. And there's still some weeks that I did it 7, and she was like, you need to bring it down a notch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because like a lot of people, and like as a trainer that's been doing this for quite a while, the highly unmotivated person, right? That they want it, but like you can't really tell because the fire is not there. Like there's like almost like you have to pedal the bike for them. But then you get an extremely motivated person that's almost too motivated, like that you can't stop them, right? And it's like they're unstoppable, like they are in it. The balance between that is energy, and so our job is calculating energy is what we do really. If I could describe what we do for a living, it is learning to manage energy efficiently and teach people to manage energy efficiently to achieve their goal. So when you have so like I had a guy that came on and he was that way. I mean, even like he was running around the gym at hyper speed, racking weights and stuff. I'm like, hey. He was trying to grow muscle, but like he was moving at such a rate of speed all the time. And I know he had a pretty high metabolism because he was a pretty thin guy looking, wanting to look closer to my level of physique. And I said, you don't, if you're moving like a cheetah, you're going to look like a cheetah, you know. But you're running a million miles an hour here, buddy. You gotta calm down. We gotta burn less calories. Otherwise, you're gonna be eating 10,000 calories a day for you to gain. Because you're burning way more energy than what you're consuming. So that it's gonna be hard to turn that into muscle. And on the other hand, on the farther end of the spectrum, is that hey, we've got to get you motivated and more engaged on a daily basis. Otherwise, you're not. The calorie restriction is going to be so high that it's not going to be realistic, because we eat as people. So yeah, finding that balance is always fun. But there's so many psychological benefits to a walk, right? As you probably know, like
yeah.
there's an enjoyment, like you said, it's totally different than the treadmill. And I think that's honestly because Dallas and I went for a walk a couple weeks ago, and I'm probably going to go for another one this evening because it gets you outside. 2, it engages the rest of your senses with things that if you're always in the gym, you kind of tune out a lot of the same sights, a lot of the same stuff. But when you're outside, especially for you on dirt roads, I mean, you're probably got eyes open for snakes crawling out of the ditch on the side of the road, or there could be possums. There could be,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff, happening. The wind could be blowing. It could be warm. It could be chilly. There's clouds. There's colors. There's everything.
Snapping turtle.
Snapping turtles, yeah. So it's engaging your brain in a really positive way, though. So now your brain feels like it's a part of the activity when you're outside, and that's one of the things I love about hiking and kayaking, because as I'm rowing, even I'm watching like birds come in and just like they're like inches above the water, just float. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Or the
Yeah.
sun setting, or I see snakes in the water, or I see like all sorts of just stuff, little nature happening all around me. And it's really satisfying for the mind. For me, it's really
Yeah.
satisfying, and it's peaceful too. So like that's one cool thing that I like about outdoor activities, is because it does, I think, really help boost the dopamine levels and stuff in the brain. So
Absolutely.
how's the last 3 weeks been going, Courtney? Do you really like, compared to the 15-week challenge when we would do group lives and stuff like that, where you lost the 40 pounds, you obviously did amazing at that because you were dedicated, super engaged, and like you said, focused. What's the difference between like a group setting and then the one-on-one training that you get with Courtney now?
The one-on-one setting is really nice to be able to have kind of an immediate, if we're doing an exercise, or if she assigns me an exercise, I have that capability to be like, not that I didn't have it in the 15-week challenge, but when you're in the group setting, like she's talking to all of us on the video. And so
Yeah.
I'd catch her later and be like, hey, on this exercise, I had trouble with doing this, like a lunge. When I lunge back with that surgical knee, I can't get low on it, or it causes bicycles. That was a good example. So doing bicycle crunches, I found that if I, kept my toe flexed either way, flex back or flex forward, or extended forward, I guess, that I would have a lot of crepitus in my surgical knee. And it wasn't that it's painful, like it literally almost sends chills up your spine and makes you want to vomit.
Yeah.
And I was like, whereas if I just leave my foot kind of hang, I said, does that make a difference in that action? I was like, I'm still using that muscle, but I don't flex or extend that foot. It just has to kind of be there, and I can just use the other muscles to move it. And why that made a difference, I don't know, but it did. Whereas like in the live setting on the one-on-one, or even when she assigns me exercises, I can shoot her a message and be like, hey, I'm doing this exercise, this is causing pain, or I'm struggling with that. And, it's right away I have that, help in that modification. And then also once she's worked with me and sees my, what is my body, where's my body at? What am I capable of? I've had a disc replacement in my neck. I have 4 herniated discs in my low back. During the 15-week challenge, I had to have a minor back procedure, and I was out of it for a week because of that. I wasn't allowed to do any exercise. I was allowed to ice my back, and that was it. So I was really, really nervous about that in the challenge, because I was like, man, this is going to set me back. And I just really kept my nutrition on point and just tried to really, focus on the things I could. And then when I got back into being able to do those things, really be able to pick back up on them. But I think that's probably the coolest thing for me, is being able to have a designed or tailored workout to fit me. The first week to 2, she's learning about what I'm capable of, what I'm not, what hurts me, what doesn't hurt me, what I need to modify, what doesn't. And then after that, it's where she can provide me with the things I do. And a conversation I had with her last week, I was like, I really loved the workout that, I think it was last Monday or Tuesday that she gave me. I don't remember which day. And I told her, I was like, I love this workout. And I said, and it's completely a mental thing for this workout, because I was able to do everything without a modification. I said, and that sounds really silly, but when I get to something where I'm like, man, I can't do it like that, it almost brings you down. Like it shouldn't, there's a modification for it.
Right.
But when you're doing it, you're just like, man, I have to change this. God, I should be able to do this. And it forms a little mind game with you. I was like, but you had those modifications built into this exercise without me even realizing it, because you're like, okay, she can't do the kneeling version of that. She has to do, the standing version of that, or she has to do the sitting version of that. And you already had them in there like that. So it wasn't like I had to go in and say, okay, what can I replace this with? I said, so it's a mental thing too, where, I feel more pumped about the workout because I was like, yeah, I could do that. I got it all done. And
Yeah.
even though I was still able to get the other ones done, just I had to modify them, but I had to do that. So it made me feel like I couldn't accomplish it.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with clients that, sometimes we set rep ranges, like 15 to 20 reps, 8 to 12 reps with this weight. And I've worked with people that there was such a psychological attachment to success that they hated the rep range. I said, listen, the goal is muscular failure. And so I'm just guessing what rep range you're going to achieve muscular failure at this weight. So when you hit it, you hit it. She's like, I need a solid number. I need a solid number. So pick 20 or pick 15 or pick 18 so I can achieve it. And I was like, she's like, because if I only hit 15 and it says 15 to 20, I feel like a complete failure. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize and so I explained that achieving the failure is success to me. Like that is success. You won when you achieve muscular failure. That means you hit what you did. And I know people don't like the word failure, and I think Courtney has a better word for it, which is just like, I'm going to say exhaustion, but she has an even better word that she uses because some people don't like the word failure. But in the gym, muscular failure is a great thing. But exhaustion, muscular exhaustion, is another term that means the same thing. But yeah, I get that. But, it also shows us how funny the mind is too, and how it tricks us and always wants to make us put us in a mood just with a thought, it wants us to feel something a certain way. It always wants us to judge and and especially ourselves,
absolutely,
and so that's another reason that fitness is so important for my life is just for the mental health aspect, the mental peace, the peace of mind. And I don't go in every day, and I did a live on it was either TikTok or Facebook the other day, and I was talking about how it's different for everybody and what their goals are, and that the fitness industry's kind of been ruined with you got to go in there and kill it every day and walk in the gym, crawl out of the gym mentality. You know what I mean? If you could still walk after leg day, you did it wrong. Well, that's not really in my goal set because I'm trying to live a really long time and still have all my joints working when I'm 90, and still be able to walk on the beach. And so I'm not going for Mr. Olympia. I'm not trying to get on the world stage. It's not my health and fitness goals. So there are days, where in my training cycle or whatever, I know it's going to be a hard training cycle for my goals. But it's certainly, I don't go to the gym every day and just completely destroy myself and forget that I need rest and nutrition, or the fact that I like to go outside and exercise, or have a well-balanced life, or have a social life. And for you, you show dogs. Do you show them, or do you also breed them as well?
Both. So I
Both.
raise and show mastiffs, so big dogs.
Yeah. So,
they would be in my video right now, but I made them go outside so they wouldn't be bothering me.
So let me ask you a question. Since you're working with pedigree type animals, right? Okay. So do you feed them at certain times a day? And if so, or if not, do you also measure their food?
Feed them certain times of day? No. I'll say no and yes. They get fed twice a day. Do they get fed at the same time every day? No. Do they get fed in a same window, like a 3-hour window? Yes.
Okay.
But especially when we're showing, if we have a really, really early show time, I have a couple of dogs that, like people, they're just not morning. If you get them up real early and try to feed them, they look at you like, no.
Right.
And I have a couple of dogs that would eat the entire bag if you let them. And so I have to remember that about the dogs. So the dogs that are food motivated and want to eat a ton, sometimes you want them a little on edge when you have a piece of bait in the ring to give that extra expression. So you withhold the food if you show real early, and then you feed them when you're done. So if we show at 8, they might not eat until 10. When maybe, if I'm not showing early that day, they'll eat at 8. So there is a window. And yes, I measure the food. And actually, that's something that is a big deal in our breed. They're a large breed. They grow fast.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks, this goes along with people, I am guilty of it myself,
Yeah.
That, oh, well, they need more. They're
Yeah.
growing. And my puppy buyers they're astonished when they see the paperwork I give them. And I tell them at no point during this puppy's life should it eat more than 4 cups twice a day.
Right.
And they're like, there's no way. My friend has a Mastiff and he eats 16 cups a day. And I said, I'm very sorry, but your friend is killing your dog.
Yes. Yes.
And, and you're killing him with kindness. You are, but
Yeah.
you're giving them growth issues. You're giving them so many issues. And we can, this may sound horrible. You might have to edit this.
That's okay. That's okay.
But when I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be mean. When you see a dog that is overweight, I say, you caused that because we control what they consume.
Yes.
And people say, oh, well, I have them on, diet food. I have them on a low fat food, or I have them on a senior food. And it's like, it's not necessarily about what you have them on. It's, if you have them on that food and they're still fat, decrease the amount you feed them.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Or get them more active too. You know what I mean? And so that's an analogy.
Well, yeah, they're old and
that's an analogy that I use with a lot of people. And I tell them, like, do you own an animal? And I'm not, 50% of people own a cat or a dog. And I say, okay, so do you just let them eat all day long, or do you feed them X amount of times a day? And most people, if it's a dog, they have a cup, whatever size a cup it is, that they scoop out of the bag and they pour it in the dog bowl. And however they measure it, they're measuring it, most people. And so I said, okay. And you realize cattle and horses and people that raise them or show them and things like that, or sheep, or pick any animal that we, develop and breed and for whatever purpose.
I do that with horses too.
Exactly.
I show in.
We'll let them graze maybe for X amount of hours a day, bring them in. They might get this amount of oats, they might get corn, depending on the animal, but it's measured. I know plenty of farmers and they're dealing with large stocks, but they still measure it. They still measure how many bales of hay. They still measure whatever the animal is eating, because the science says they'll put on this X amount of weight at a healthy pace if you do this. It'll also prevent bloating if you only give them this amount of this and this. Like it's science. And so I say, it's the same thing if you own a pet dog. You have to love yourself as much as you love your animal. Control what they eat. Make sure they have enough, obviously, but not so much that you're killing your animal. Because you can't afford, most people, the reason they measure is because they can't afford to let their dog just eat all day long endlessly because of the price of dog food. Especially if it's a food-driven animal that loves to eat. So, and I try to get them to apply that concept into their brain sometimes, because the human body itself, take our mind, take our emotions, take all that out or whatever. It's still it's a mammal. And so it responds in much the same way to nutrition and exercise. And so, measuring that is a concept that it's new to some people. It's not new to me because I've been doing this for a while, but at one time, that was a brand new concept to me. Oh, I'm supposed to be measuring how much I eat. I thought I just you know what I mean? Like, I just could just eat until I turned like 32 and looked down one day and I was like, oh yeah, maybe maybe I need to do something differently in my life, So yeah, I spent the last 8 years doing that, but yeah, it's interesting. And to me that, it's common sense when it comes to, if you own a dog, you feed it X amount of times a day and you usually measure it. But when it comes to ourselves, we don't apply that sense or that knowledge or that concept to our own lives sometimes. And,
but it differs from person to person, just like it does from dog to dog too.
Absolutely.
I have people that go, I have a lab and that dog eats 4 cups twice a day and it's fine. I said, yeah, but your lab is nonstop, right? Well, yeah, he runs and plays a stick. He swims in the pond. I said, what does a Mastiff do? I said, Mastiffs go out and they exercise, they do stuff, but then they're happy and their metabolic rate of burning that energy is not that high.
Yeah.
You know, they're growing exponentially,
Yes.
but you know, that lab is burning more. And that's, you know, people can't get it through their head with the dogs. They're like, well, Mastiff is so much bigger, it has to eat more. That's
Right.
probably the most popular question I get when I'm out with my dogs. How much does that dog eat? And you know, if it's one of my adult females, I go, they eat 2 cups twice a day. And they go, there's no way. There's
Yeah.
no way that that's all that dog eats. And I said, get a 1 cup measuring cup, fill it with dog food. They get 2 of those twice a day.
Yeah.
And they just find it astounding,
Yeah.
but it's the truth.
Yeah, and like with my different training cycles, like obviously if you wanted to pack on massive amounts of muscle with a dog, you would have to put it under resistance training, maybe hook it up to a sled, work it all day, and then feed it massive amounts of calories so it metabolizes it into lean muscle mass. So people are astounded when they're like, you know, when I'm 228 pounds at 5'9" and putting on a lot of muscle, and they're like, well, how much do you eat a day? And I'm like, 7,000-8,000 calories. You know, I don't like telling people that because, well, half of them hate me because the body fat percentage is still relatively low and I'm eating 8,000 calories a day. Well, to them, that's a lot. To me, that's just puts me in enough of a surplus, a caloric surplus, that I can actually now have the potential to put on more muscle. Now with that, it's going to come probably some water weight and also some fat weight as well. Because I'm doing less activities too, and I'm just lifting heavier, but I'm not doing cardio hardly. I'm not doing, because I'm resting a lot because I want my body to grow. And so, and then they hear that. But then when I'm in like a maintenance phase where I'm just maintaining my weight and the way I look, or if I'm in a cutting phase and they're like, I'm doing 3 times the volume of activities. I'm doing 3 workouts a day, but maybe I'm only at 2,200 calories or 2,600 calories or something like that. And I measure my food. I measure my salt. I measure my potassium. I measure my carbs. I measure my protein every single meal. And I'm kind of like a dog. I can eat the same exact food every single day of the week. I could eat it Monday through Sunday, breakfast, lunch, dinners. They never change. I can do that because I know why I'm eating, and it's not like it's horrible tasting food. It's just that I've adapted to a point where it's like I just look at food as energy, and so I'm just balancing the energy to give myself what I need because I like the results that it gives me.
Mm-hmm.
On a maintenance phase or even on a bulking phase, I get treats just like a dog. So I let myself go out and have a cheeseburger with friends or something like that because I know it's not going to totally derail me. Some people it may if they have like an unhealthy relationship with certain foods, you know, like if they're battling some kind of psychological addiction with food or something. I get that. I've never really been in that place. So for me, you know, if I feel like, okay, I've been on this for 6-8 weeks, eating the same exact food every single day, I've achieved my goals, and I can achieve goals very rapidly because of the discipline. It also allows me, though, to seriously go and do something that's really going to kind of like mess up my intestines, but it's enjoyable. So I'll go get like a large thin crust, super supreme pizza from my Pizza Hut, and I can eat it all in one sitting. And love enjoy like all the veggies on it, all the meat on, like, and just enjoy the flavor because it's so new and unique because to my palate. But
Yeah.
I'm good, but I'll do it and I'll time it. So I'll do it the night before I know I have a massive heavy lift to do, let's say like a massive leg day, and I want energy. So I'm putting all those calories in me, and so within 13 hours, I know I'm going to be in the gym lifting massive weight. And I'm going to have a long workout and I'm really going to kill it. Not because I'm trying to burn off the calories, but because I'm wanting basically most of those carbs to get me through my workout. So then what I'm left with it is the protein and the fats that go into, you know, the amino acids and the fatty acids that I need for protein synthesis. And I have some of the best pumps and workouts after I go have like a cheat night the night before. Like I feel unstoppable. I don't need a pre-workout. I don't need a bunch of caffeine or anything. Like it's the dose of carbs because I'm not used to that amount of carbs in a day. Let's say before, it's like, man, I feel you know, maybe I still feel pretty bloated from the pizza and a little gassy, but as far as the workout goes, man, I'm killing it. So yeah. food and people, and you know, and it's interesting to me because we're all at different places, obviously on our journeys and stuff like that. But yeah,
The food has been a learning thing for me in learning what foods affect me as the best way I can put it. So what I've learned through this, you know, I think my head has always been trained from the time of a kid that you know, if you eat that piece of cake or that Snickers bar or that sugary substance, like that right there is gonna, you know, make you fat, or that is gonna put the weight on you. Or you eat you know, I love cheese, you know. Oh, well, if you eat too much cheese, it's gonna make you fat. And I've found through, you know, my involvement with nutrition, and then during this whole 15-week challenge of really trying to, and then also into this personal training and logging my calories and logging my macros and, you know, really watching what I'm eating, I am not that dedicated to eat the same food every day, week after week.
Sure. And most people aren't.
Happen.
No, most people aren't. And like I that's why I've avoid almost religiously giving people meal plans. Everybody thinks they want a meal plan. And I'm like, actually, what you want is a cookbook. You want recipes that fit into what your goals are, because you don't want to eat like me, because I eat like a dog. I eat the same exact and I'm happy about it. But like, you're not going to be. I've been doing this a long time, and life is so diverse. It's colorful, and there's a lot of taste to be had out there. And you don't want to make your life unenjoyable, because you won't stick with it. You know, I tell people, we don't try to come in and turn your life upside down. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to slowly introduce healthy habits and find what's right for you, foods that you enjoy that fit in to where you want it to fit in, so you can still achieve whatever, you know, fitness goal you have. For me,
one day a week I do my cheat day. And so like, if there's something I'm craving that day, you know, that I, you know, plan it for, okay, well, if I'm really craving it, I know this place has my most favorite one of that, or like my most favorite pizza, or my most favorite pasta, burrito, whatever it might be. And, you know, I go have it, and I don't have any guilt about it or anything, because I know that I'm going to keep the rest of that day and the rest of the week on point. And I think that's been huge for me to not fall off track, is being able to do that. But also, I've been able to learn that, you know, the carbs in a piece of pizza affect me worse than the carbs in a Snickers bar. And so, you know, knowing those things, if I'm craving sweets as my thing for that week, then, you know, I know that I can probably still cheat a little bit on something else, because those sweets don't affect me that bad.
Right.
So that's been a cool thing to learn.
So yeah, like what I've learned is the pizza crust, I get the thin crust because it affects me the least. However, it still affects me. And because it's just so hard to process, and I know why, is because most processed food, hey Shushi, sorry, we're on TikTok too, by the way.
Hi.
Is because of all the vegetable oils and stuff that are usually involved with processed foods, just don't resonate really good with my digestive system. However, Snickers used to be my favorite candy bar in the world. My uncle bought me Gatorade and Snickers when I used to caddy for him in golf every time I went golfing. And so it's almost like a nostalgia for me. But I never eat them anymore, honestly, because I've been off of candy and sugar and sweets so long that it just doesn't set well with my stomach. But you brought up a good point about how now you're able to enjoy those things without the guilt and shame and the damaging thoughts in your head, as if you've just done something bad. And that's one of the hardest things sometimes when we're raised like that, or people have been pounding that in our head or whatever. Even during consultations, I tell people, listen, I want you to send me a food log of your last 24 hours or over the next 24 hours. And I don't want you to change anything. I want you to be completely open and honest with me. I really don't believe in a good or bad food. I don't believe in shaming guilt as an effective method to train people. To me, it creates more eating disorders and psychological problems than it does progress. And so working with that, getting to know your body too, that's something else. What does your body process well? For you, you're able to process the carbs out of a candy bar. However, for me, I think it's the immediate sugar thing. It almost makes me nauseous now. And so like I'll get upset to my stomach. I won't get immediately nauseous off the pizza until about 4 hours later. Then I experience some uncomfortable IBS, full disclosure. But I know what's coming when I do that. I know I'm putting
So you're
myself through it on
prepared.
purpose. I'm prepared. Yeah. And I know what's going to happen. So I make sure, you know, I time it just right. And like I said, the next morning, I'm so carb pumped that I get massive pumps. Like you can't stop me from lifting because anytime I'm hitting a muscle, it's like that pump that that it just gets so swole. You can't even pinch, scared, and you just feel jacked and just like, oh my God, I'm killing it. So I kind of use it for that, but I don't feel guilt. Now I don't, what I try not to do is be like those trainers that just like, go show myself eating a large pizza once every 3 weeks or something like that, as if it's totally fine, because there's just so many people that follow me or whatever. I don't want to give a misrepresentation that, hey, you can look like me and eat pizza like this every day, because that's not an everyday
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not an everyday thing, but fitting it in, I certainly don't feel guilty going out with friends to the Mexican restaurant or to a Pizza Hut, because like you, I count the calories, I budget them in, and if I'm in a surplus, I know I'm going to have a killer lift the next day, and everything's going to balance itself out. So, yeah, but learning that, if that's not, you know, if you've never heard of those concepts before, it sounds like German. You know, it sounds like another language we're speaking right now. You know, there's a lot of people aren't familiar with that, and unfortunately, you have a split in marketing to where you have the food industrial complex that is doing everything to associate happiness and joy with a lot of sugar-based, quick, easy, accessible foods, and they associate it with family or joy or fun. If you're hungry, grab a Snickers, right? So like, so now they've tried to enter the ghrelin hormone, and now the solution to hunger is Snickers, right? That's the solution to hunger. But I mean, it's clever marketing. However,
Yeah.
then we have this other side of society that's just like shaming most foods, like if they're non-GMO, if they're this or they're that, and like it's confusing the hell out of people that are trying to find health, trying to find fitness, and they're overwhelmed by decision fatigue. What's healthy? What's not healthy? These people are saying keto. These people are saying non-GMO. These people are saying avoid processed foods. These people are saying avoid this kind of leafy green. These people are saying because all these people are confusing people trying to make a buck. And they're like, don't do it that way, do it this way. Don't do it that way, do it this way. And really the only way, in my opinion, that really works is like, let's stay realistic. What do you enjoy? First, let's start there. What do you actually enjoy eating? And then let's look at how much we consume in a day, and let's keep your lifestyle as normalized as we can. And then anything that we see could be long-term, health effects, we'll just give you the facts, and I'll even link you to the scientific data to support that, because I never want to come off as like, you should eat like this or that, or, whatever. I tell people very specifically why I eat the exact same things that I eat every day. And it's just because my main focus right now is maintaining sodium levels, potassium levels, carbs, my protein sources, getting all my essential amino acids, and my water intake balanced, because it reduces my anxiety. It keeps me functional, and it prevents cramping, and I recover from workouts where I'm not sore. So I can literally go in the gym every day, even after a massive chest day. I might have a little tightness, but a few stretches and I'm ready to work out again. It doesn't take me 3-4 days to recover from leg day anymore, because I've got my nutrition figured out, and it doesn't mess with my IBS or anything. So that's another important part. Everybody's different, so figuring out what works for you should be what's important. There's no one size fits all, I don't think, for food or training.
No, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. Learning, of course, it's my most favorite loves that affect me the worst. So bread,
Yeah,
pasta, pizza,
sure.
those sort of things. But I still am able to. The longer that I've not eaten it, the less I crave it. And so,
Yes, absolutely.
I find that now I actually search for the foods that like really bring me enjoyment. So I'm a huge seafood fan, and we
Oh, me
have
too.
a food truck of all things that comes to our Gainesville Farmers Market on the weekends. And during crawfish season, they have crawfish and shrimp and everything, but it's out of season now. So now they're doing, they still do their boiled shrimp, which is I do eat a pound of their boiled shrimp
Yeah,
without any problems.
yeah,
So,
me too. Yeah,
um, but I absolutely love that. And so like, that's a lot of times my cheat meal. And I don't even feel guilty about that. I was like, it's a lot of protein, so I feel
Yeah.
good about it, but it was something that I've been craving. So I had it. Or, I mean, everybody craves Mexican food, right? So
Right. Yeah.
Mexican food, but it's definitely, it's been really cool to learn that and be able to see it work, and to see that, okay, I just ate 2 slices of pizza, and I've put on this, and some of it's going to be water weight from increased sodium that I'm not used to.
Sure.
But how long does it stick with me? How long can I, does it help me, does it hurt me? And
Yeah.
so really being able to see that day to day, and work with that was an awesome opportunity and thing to see and work with, and then incorporating the exercising in with it. And I'm really good at doing what I'm told with the
Yeah.
exercises.
Yeah.
I'm still not good with figuring out what I should do. So
Yeah. Yeah. And um yeah, I think a lot of people are surprised once they get going in training how much I guess how liberal we are with what you eat, because it's not our main concern as it is the caloric amount, and then the macronutrient breakdown, and then if you want to get beyond that, making sure you're getting your micronutrients and your vitamins and minerals, so that you're healthy. And so a lot of people are surprised when I'm like, I'm not upset that they went and had Mexican food or pasta or whatever. They enjoyed it. A lot of people are married or in relationships. And I tell guys all the time that come to me, I'm like, listen, be completely upfront with me. You're a married man. I'm assuming the wife likes date night to happen X amount of times. If you're taking the right kind of care of her, X of times a month. And I don't mind really getting picky with your meal plan if that's the kind of regiment that you think works best for you. But you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose, like, your wife is not going to enjoy losing date night because you said that you're on this strict, rigid meal plan, bro. And I'm not going to be blamed for that. She's not coming to me. Because I'll totally give you a cheat meal with your wife. Just tell me. We're not training for Mr. Olympia here. We're not trying to walk on a stage. So let's keep a happy life. Let's do the things we enjoy doing. I know, if you have some popcorn at the movies, try not to drown it completely in butter, maybe. I mean, but other than that, enjoy your evening on your date night and just log it, because I
yeah.
can look at it and say, okay, this is how we adjust the workout. This is how we adjust nutrition for 1 week, and we can recalibrate, or maybe even 2 or 3 days, just slightly make a small changes. But everyone wants to jump to extremes these days. Oh, I need to cut out carbs completely. Oh, I need to go do this max insane workout DVD program that just literally just destroys you. And they last about 3 or 4 days, and their body just can't handle it. And they just spent $400 on it. And it's like, okay, that didn't work. And then, cutting out carbs didn't work. Well, because you just divided a third of your life and said, I'm not participating with 30% of my relationship with food from now on. It's gone. I'm just writing it off. Like it's that easy to break up with, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I've really learned about macros through you guys. I didn't understand macros. So I learned more about macros. I learned a little bit about them with the 15-week challenge. I've learned a lot about them since being on the personal training with Courtney. And then I use your that Excel spreadsheet that you made for calculating caloric intake and macros and meals.
Yeah.
I use that all through the 15-week challenge and currently even. So like when I come up with I love cooking. I love coming up with recipes. And so
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, this, and this would taste really good together. And, if I eliminate this and add this, that'd be better. Oh, well, and I'll literally I'll sit down in an evening and I'll have 3 meals in mine. And I get like all the ingredients either pulled up on my phone, or if I have them here, I sit them on the table next to me and I'm like, okay, plug all the numbers in. I'm like, oh, I don't like how that looks. Let me adjust something.
Yeah.
And, figure out what I'm going to put in there. And so I really enjoy that and utilize that tool as well.
Yeah. Cause see, like I love to cook as well. So, I raising 3 kids on my own, right? When I first started getting into nutrition, like all the websites I went to and stuff like that, and bodybuilding.com, everybody just want to give me like meal plans or like whatever. But what they they would keep it simple, like have this many ounces of chicken, this many ounces of rice, and that's it, right? Well, I was raised in a family that we weren't very affluent, so we didn't have a lot of money, and my mama would come up with meals on the fly. like casseroles and stuff like that. So I got like a lot of
That was my life too.
yeah, so like I came up with a lot of hand-me-down recipes and soul food that I enjoyed. But the problem is when you throw everything into a casserole, right? All you know is like that's mama's recipe that I got. You have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. Oh crap! Like how much is a serving? How many calories are in this dish altogether? How many calories did I just eat? You know what I mean? And so like other people, I was like, this is a problem that we're not solving in the world. And while it may not, like I could probably turn the Excel thing into its own app, but like I like to like store recipes like that were handed down. I love this Mexican casserole dish I make that my mama taught me. Literally, I've got it figured down to a science. The whole dish is 10,000 calories. All right, but then you start cutting it into squares for your servings. And like the calculator I built helps you do that. How many squares did you cut the whole dish into? How many servings did you cut it up into? And then all you got to do is punch in how many servings you ate. And you know exactly all the carbs that you ate. You know,
Yeah.
you know the fats, you know the proteins, you know the calories. And while you know it's not real shiny or whatever, it's just an Excel spreadsheet. That's what I use for the longest time, so I could still enjoy foods that I liked without going over my daily calories, and still have a pretty good idea of where I'm at on all my macronutrient ranges. So I am really happy to hear that you're
Yeah.
using that, because like I put, it's no joke, because I'm not in Excel. Like I never went to school. I never learned to Excel, like all that. I was like YouTubing how to work like formulas and stuff. It probably took me 40 hours to build that calculator. And so,
Oh, I don't doubt it. I love Excel and I use it every day in my job. I'm a quality systems manager.
oh,
And,
okay.
and so like Excel is one of my, I've never taken a class on it. Everything I've learned is either, you know, in school, what was provided to me, and then, you know, things I've been able to pick up by asking people, hey, I know you can do that, or Google. You
Yeah,
know, that was the best thing, going to Google,
yeah,
be like, how do I figure out a formula for, you know, days of the week, excluding holidays or this or that. And so when I saw the Excel spreadsheet, I was like super stoked about it. And at first in the 15-week challenge, I didn't really understand how to use it. And then as time went on, I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do with this. And now, you know, I actually duplicated another tab because I have all my recipes in there, right? And so
yeah.
I know how I make it. I have them all in there, so I know. So friends of mine, when we were in the office, I would bring some food for people, and my one friend, you know, he tries to, you know, keep fit and work out and, you know, watch his caloric intake. I'm like, hey, this one's only 450 calories for the serving. You're good to go. I was like, in your
That's
balance and your
awesome.
protein. He was like, he just starts laughing. And so he'll call me. He's like, hey, what was that recipe you told me about? You know, it was only like, you know, I need to carb load, and then I need to watch my protein intake because I'm going to be playing a bunch of tennis and blah, blah, blah. And so it's been fun, and I actually really, really enjoy it. I use
Yeah,
it a
it's
ton.
awesome, and it can help you like look super smart in front of your friends too. It takes a little time, and you got to read it. You got to read a few labels and stuff. You know what I mean? But like when you go to a potluck,
Yeah.
like because like we have like VIP meetups every once in a while at the gym, and we'll do a little potluck and something like that. And I, you know, I show up with a casserole dish it looks like, I mean, it's got cheese in it, it's got chips in it, it's got chicken in it, you know, it's a tasty Mexican dish. And they're like, Curtis, I'm like, trust me, I know what I've already cut it up for you guys. I know how many calories is in each. I know, like, I can tell you what to log, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats, how much saturated fat. Like, I got it down, man. Like, I can eat this way because I know where I'm at. So
Yeah.
I know how many servings I can enjoy tonight and not go over my goals. And you just ask me, I'll tell you how to punch it in the app. So, yeah.
Well, when I went to the dog show last week, you know, I think I told you a little bit about this. We rented an Airbnb, and I was in charge of making all of the meals. And so they put me in charge of it because, like, you've been eating really healthy, you've been doing really good. And it goes back to like the following on Facebook, right? They're my friends, but they, you know, they follow me on Facebook, and they're like, you know, you're in charge of making this menu. And so I was like, okay, sounds good. And so I made the menu, and we all like chipped in to buy each of the meals. And we had like Mexi chicken is one of my favorite crock pot dishes. Super simple, 265 calories a serving. It's loaded with protein. Like, you can't beat it. So you could easily add rice to it and not go over your caloric intake value on it, and or add black beans or whatever you want to it. And so they were like, well, we want to do taco salads or, tacos or nachos. And I was like, hey, this recipe is perfect. You can use it for any of them. And I can still eat the way I need to eat.
Yeah.
And then we did salmon and sweet potatoes and asparagus and spinach one night. And we did, burgers and sausage on the grill and mac and cheese. And I was like, okay, that's cool. It's my cheat night. No big deal. I worked
no
that
big
in as my cheat night. And,
Yeah.
then a pot roast recipe that I have. And they're like, one of my friends called me today, actually, and she was like, man, I just want to tell you, I stepped on the scale this morning. I'm so glad that you made up the menu because I didn't put on any weight during the dog show.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I get asked so many nutrition-based questions, and that I've been reading labels for so many years now. What's up, Alicia? How you doing? I've been reading labels for so long now that I know typically if I go to a Mexican restaurant, let's say I want to enjoy some of those chips and salsa, and that they just try to keep shoving down your throat by the basket loads. Typically, about 11 chips is a serving. I got that memorized. Almonds, 28 almonds to a serving. And people are like, and then people are like, what about alcohol? I was like, well, there's 7 grams in alcohol. There's 7 calories per gram of alcohol. And then like, what about the conversions? Like, how do you convert grams to shots and all this stuff? And so like over the years, getting asked so much and having to find these answers for people and stuff, I find myself like literally being able to like eyeball a steak, and I can, if it's a sirloin, I can almost on the first cut make a 6-ounce cut and weigh it, and I'm like usually like just paper thin, close to being right on 6 ounces. And so like after a while, like it was difficult though in the beginning. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate you, man. In the beginning, it was I remember like it just seemed overwhelming, all this stuff to learn.
Yeah.
And like, but now it's like anything else, like, that you have to learn at first. It seems tough. And then all of a sudden, it's like just there. It's just in your head,
It becomes a habit.
It's
it
just
really
a
becomes
habit.
a habit,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, and people are like, how do you drink 2 to 3 gallons of water a day? Like, I'm not telling everyone to go out and drink 2 or 3 gallons of water a day. That's not what I'm doing. But my days start at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. And the first thing I do is go out in a hot garage. No, the first thing I do is drink 2 black cups of coffee. Morning ritual right there. I take a probiotic, which is a 2-phase thing, and it comes with a fat burner, and it just helps me wake up. So now I'm alert. Put in the earbuds, and I go out there, wrap up my hands, put on the boxing gloves. I'm listening to Rocky music, and I'm starting my day off beating this bag. Well, I'm pouring buckets of sweat, because it's humid in Oklahoma. It's hot, and I'm getting into it. You know what I mean? Like, and the music's pumping, and then you reach that spot where you just really start enjoying this. Like you got the psychological aspect of all the hype music in your head, and you're going to town, and then it's hard to stop, because you're just, and it's peaceful. I'm up before anybody else, and my phone's not going off. I'm not dealing with stress. Like, I'm unloading stress, and I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm really doing something, and I just sweated buckets. I looked down at the floor of the garage, and it is just soaked. I'm soaked. My shorts are soaked. My shirt is soaked, and it takes my hand wraps and stuff hours to dry, even in a hot garage, because I put in the work. So I immediately come in, and I have got almost a gallon of water drank before 8 a.m. just trying to replenish what I just kind of dumped out, because I know by somewhere between 10 and 2 p.m., depending on my day, I'm going to be doing probably an hour to a 2-hour lift in the gym, depending on what I'm working on that day. And then in the evening, I'm either going to go for a walk when it's hot and humid, or I'm going to go do 15 or 30 minutes of some other kind of cardio or something that I enjoy if I'm in a cutting phase. They're like, if I was drinking that much water, I'd be going to the bathroom every day. Well, yeah, or every hour. And I'm like, yeah, if you're not as active, you don't need as much. You certainly don't need that much water. Like, if you're a truck driver, I don't recommend drinking three gallons of water a day, but you're going to be looking for bottles to go in. Like, it's not going to work for you.
I was going to say, have a bunch of spare gallons for yourself.
Yeah, you better have some spare gallons to fill up. But likewise, when I took my trip across country and was camping at national parks and stuff like that, I didn't account for enough water, because 2 gallons a day, 2.5 gallons a day was about right for me. But I'm working out in a gym it's air conditioned controlled. I'm usually sitting in the office chair most of the day. And then the only little thing that was hot would be in the garage, the morning workout. but it was still morning. And so, yeah, it wasn't that hot. Sorry, my kids are coming in the back door and I can hear them and they were yelling and I was like, what's going on? Anyway, but what I didn't account for was like, okay, now I'm camping across the country in tents through Arkansas and Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. And boy, it got more and more humid as I got into the South. So I'm sweating all day long. Then I go shower at the campsite showers. But by the time I walk back to my tent, I'm already covered in sweat again. And then I'm sleeping at night and I'm sweating again. Right. And so, like,
that's not good sleep.
no, it wasn't. And one night my air mattress got a hole in it, and it was electric air mattress, so you flip a switch, it airs itself up, but it got a hole. And I was up like duct taping it and trying to like fix the hole. Nothing worked. So every 30 minutes I'd wake up on the hard ground, and I had to flip the switch and get aired back up and then go back to sleep. And then 30 minutes later, do it again. So there wasn't a great sleep that night either. It was an adventure, but I learned a lot, about, being outside and stuff. It was fun. So you're week 3 with Courtney right now, and
yep,
you literally killed it in the 15-week challenge with your dedication and your focus. Like, I was like, holy cow! Like, I was like, wow, I'm so glad we did this, because like, a lot of people got a lot of stuff out of it. Yours was just really a profound transformation. Like, you really dug in deep during that thing. You're 3 weeks in with Courtney. You've told us about your like live one-on-one sessions and stuff like that. Yeah. Why are you working out? Why are you doing fitness? What does it mean to you? What is it to you?
I've always struggled with weight my whole life. I've always been overweight. I won't say I was ever obese, but definitely overweight. My mom's overweight, my dad's overweight. It's in rights. It's genetics on top of self-responsibility. So I had finally gotten to a point where, we have excuses. We can give ourselves excuses all day long. And pre-COVID, it's like, oh, well, I don't have enough time, or I'm exhausted when I get home from work, or whatever. And so COVID parked my butt in front of a computer at the house, and I was like, all right, Sarah, you got nothing now. You got all the time in the world on your hands.
Yeah.
And so, Courtney reached out to me about the 15-week challenge, and at first I was like, yeah, okay, I'll look into it. And finances obviously being tight, and she was, I really think it's something you can do. Just go look at it. And so I did. And I can't tell you how glad I am that I joined it. And I would do it again and again, everybody to do it, because
start to break up.
Start to build muscle back. Oh, did I lose you?
I think you're back. At least your audio. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you still hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So I've had a lot of life events, I'll say, health events in life. I shouldn't be here today by all medical reasons, but I am, because big man upstairs was looking out for me. But, I had massive pulmonary embolisms. My lungs were splattered in them, and a saddle embolism in my heart, and was in ICU for 2 weeks, bedbound. And I'm on blood thinners still to this day, because they never could figure out a reason as to why it occurred. I don't have any genetic link. I don't have any reason that it should have happened. Like I said, I was in a bad car wreck, have a disc replacement at C5-6, have 4 herniated discs in my low back. Being overweight doesn't help those. And so I was really, it came to a point of digging deep in myself to want to be the best me for me, and want to be healthy. And then after having the knee replacement, that was a big holdup for me for a long time, because it was painful to do stuff. It was painful to stand up out of a chair. It was painful to, at the end, it was painful to walk from my living room to my bedroom. Yeah. And at 37 years, I was 36 years old at that time, before my knee surgery. You're not thinking about getting a knee replacement.
Right.
I mean, that's the last thing that crosses your mind.
Yeah.
So I finally went to the doctor. I was like, look, I can't make it. They wanted me to make it to 40. And I said, I can't. I'm not. This is not an equality. I'm not going to do this. And so being more sedentary, doesn't help either. So when this opportunity came up, and I had to get in my own head and say, you have no excuses. You have every ounce of time you could possibly have at this exact moment. So if
Right.
you can't step up and do this for yourself, you don't care that much.
Yeah.
And so I did it, and I'm so glad I did. And I absolutely love the personal training. I told Courtney, I was like, I wish that I could like I had the nutrition down pretty well for myself. I had the dedication, I had the drive to do it. I was like, I just need the workouts. I'm not there. I'm not good enough to do that. And I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not trained in that area, or have been educated in that area to know, okay, she's at this phase, we need to change these exercises to move to that. I don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. That's what you guys do.
Right.
And so that's what I like and love about the the personal training and keeping forward with this. So I've lost more weight and during these past 3 weeks. The exact amount I'm not sure, because unfortunately my scale broke last Thursday, and then I left to go to Kansas, and I just got back yesterday, so I haven't gotten to buy a new scale yet.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, up to the point where last week I'm down to a total of 47 pounds since the beginning of the 15 weeks. So 2 weeks in, down 7 more pounds. So that was exciting. But there's plateaus. I've hit plateaus, and I just have to keep telling myself, okay, it's gonna happen. You're not just gonna consistently lose and lose and lose. You're gonna have to alter stuff, change things up, and Courtney's been awesome with helping me with that too.
That's great. Yeah. And yeah, plateau. So plateau is a common word for it. I look at it more as adaptation. So the body and all of its various processes has a tendency to adapt to certain things. That's why we have training phases. And one of the hardest phases for people, it's for us scientifically, we know that if there, let's say, we're not losing body fat at the rate we would like to, and it's starting to diminish that we know that we're going to have to do something to increase the resting metabolic rate, which is how much fat you're burning per hour at rest. And so we don't usually start a conversation that way with people. At least I try not to, but it's one of the most fascinating topics for me, because it's backwards for almost everything that we've been kind of taught, or what the media puts out there, and just a lot of it's backwards from just a lot of the way fitness is promoted. So people will ask me, well, how do you go from 16% body fat? Because I was at like 16% body fat. How do you go from 16 to like 8, which is half the body fat? Did I lose you? You kind of froze. Okay, there you are. And
I'm here.
And my answer is I eat more. And they're like, what? You eat more to lose fat? I'm like, yeah, because I'm increasing the lean muscle mass. Because the more lean muscle mass you have, the higher your resting metabolic rate comes up. And that means I burn more fat per hour at rest. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, it does. It makes absolute scientific sense. Because we have science-based programs. So, typically that's not the first phase that we take a client through that's wanting to lose weight, obviously. We're going to get them some weight loss results and things like that. Eventually what's going to happen is they're going to be able to build muscle and burn fat at the same time for quite a while in their fitness journey. Eventually, one day, they're going to hit what we call plateau, to where they're going to have to learn and this is a word that women hate, but it's called bulking. But let's just say it's called sculpting or toning or whatever other arbitrary word we want to put in there, okay, to make everyone feel better. But what it means is we have to increase your lean muscle tissue so that, one, you have more control over the way your physique looks, so you can keep your natural feminine curves, and so we can increase your resting metabolic rate, so when you're not working out, you're still burning fat at sometimes a 3 times higher rate per pound of lean mass we put on you per pound. So if you put on, let's say 5 pounds of lean mass head to toe, which isn't going to make you look like me or Arnold Schwarzenegger or like a man, for most women, they're still going to look extremely feminine. And we can choose where we can put on muscle, right? We can choose where we build muscle. We can totally spot train where we're going to enlarge muscle groups by training. We just train them and we increase the progressive overload. So like girls like, I want a booty. Well, that's not, that's light work for us. As long as you're willing to eat and do some hip thrusts and kickbacks and abduction and adduction, we build you any kind of booty you want. If depending, if you got to feed it to get it, but yeah, we can do that. Yeah. I mean, the food's got to go somewhere. Let's turn it into, muscle. Let's get a booty. That's fine. But
my booty has to starve a little.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay. So everyone has different goals, and so when we usually by that point though of the process, if they do hit that plateau, they've been with us long enough that we've developed that trust, and they trust the scientific process. They've already seen massive results, and why we do ask them for this phase. Listen, we need you to eat more. You're not always even going to be hungry, maybe, but we need you to eat more, and we're going to train this way, and it's for a limited time. You're not going to put. The scale might change a little bit, but overall, for the long-term goal for this little micro mesocycle or whatever, it's going to be really beneficial for what you're wanting to achieve. And when we come out of the cycle, you're back to burning fat like you were, or even a higher rate. So, yeah, but they're concepts that I don't know. I wish everybody knew it, because then, well, I say I wish everybody knew it. There's a lot of stuff everybody knows, but it doesn't necessarily empower them to get active or change their own life. Like we know a lot of stuff's bad for us, but we do it anyway. So, but I am so glad that you're still killing it, smashing your goals. I just love that attitude in a person. You didn't half-ass it on the 15-week challenge. You went all in, and it totally shows. I was blown away when Courtney got a hold of me and was like, check these out. And I was like, holy cow. She didn't mess around. Like she went all in on this thing. Like she went all in. And it made me even happier that you're using my food calculator, man, because I put so much time and effort into that. I put so much, and I'm so proud of it too, because it works for me, where I can still eat casseroles.
Yeah, no, it does.
Wonder, I found it very practical. Yeah. So you don't know what that meant to me. You telling me that today, like that made my day. I wish more people would get a hold of that.
I don't know if you saw Courtney's whatever it is where you can put like the little clip in your what is that called? Where like you put your TikToks and stuff on Facebook. What is that? Your story. That's what it is. Your story. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw her story today, but the little baby bicep picture in that story that she put on there, that was me.
Awesome. Yeah. I love flexing pics. I'm working with Kim right now, and her back is she's in that she's hitting flex stage where she's like, we'll be live doing online training, and she's like, hit screen record and watch me do these lat pull downs and check out my back. And I'm like, oh shit, get it all cut in and stuff. And then when she gets done, she'll turn around and give me the flex. I'm like, look, it's looking good, girl. Yeah, like so that's a really fun. Like I love that. It's a fun phase, when you see the changes happening, when you see the transformation. It's just such a great feeling, especially if like having been through all the injuries and surgeries that you have, and there was probably times in your mind where the times were dark and you thought it was really going to hold you back, but look where you're at now, and none of that stuff has really slowed you down much. You're down 47 pounds, so that's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean that's amazing. Like think about how much less pressure. Yeah, think about how much less pressure is on those knees now, and how much less pressure is on your spine just from that being 50 pounds lighter. So that's healthier, and it's going to eventually, hopefully, through muscular balance, we'll be able to alleviate most pain, from things like that.
That's my goal. A funny thing for you is, so at the dog show, I had posted some pictures, at the end of each day, who won what. My dogs did fairly well, and I helped out a professional handler that I'm friends with. show a couple of dogs because they were, stacked up on all the breeds are showing at different times, multiple rings. So he had 2 places at once. And so, I helped him and showed this one dog, and I took a picture because she won her class. It was her first show. That it was a puppy. She's just 6 months old. And my mom messages me and she goes, "Is that you with the picture of the French Bulldog on Facebook?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, Mom. Who else would it be? Why else did I post a picture of a person on Facebook with a dog?" She goes, "I almost didn't recognize you." And so my mom lives in Pennsylvania. And she sees me when we FaceTime, but we haven't FaceTimed in a while. And so she hasn't actually like seen me other than just like the quick face shot that I put. And it was a full body shot of me with the dog. And she goes, "I almost didn't recognize you." And of course we have masks on at the dog show because they require it. Yeah. So, this part of me is covered. Yeah. And, and I was like, that's really bad if your own mother doesn't recognize you.
Or really good.
Yeah, or really good, yeah.
Yeah. So every time I go home to visit the folks, my dad's like, he always makes a big, you're getting bigger, and you're not gonna be able to fit through the door. And I was like, yeah, well, yeah. If your belly gets any bigger, I'm gonna have to keep buying you pants and stuff like that. So, we give each other a hard time a lot, but it's good. Yeah, I hope you really enjoyed your last week. Courtney is amazing. For anybody watching on TikTok, you guys can check out Courtney at teamhotfitness.com/Courtney. This beautiful young woman has been working with Courtney for 18 weeks now, experiencing her in different formats and group workouts and live one-on-one personal training. She's had amazing results. And so it sounds like she would recommend Courtney probably to anybody else out here listening.
Absolutely. I'd recognize Hot Fitness and Courtney and any of the trainers. I personally am going to, say Courtney because, one, I know her as a person, but two, she's been a phenomenal trainer. And, she really adapts to what I need. And I'm sure she does that for everybody. Some people need encouragement. Some people need, accountability. Some people need, like the mental game with me of, adjusting the exercises to where it's something I don't have to modify, so I feel better about it. She got that and understood that and has done that, and so it's been amazing. So I would say 2 thumbs up. I can only give 1 because my hand is holding it. Well, here maybe, 2 thumbs. But yeah, I mean, definitely recommend you guys to anybody. And it's been an awesome experience, and awesome for people that I didn't even know, like, looked at my posts on Facebook or, or anything, and then you messaged me like, "Hey, you're inspiring me." And that's awesome feeling for me. And so, being able to, even if one person a day looks at something and feels inspired about whatever it is that their goal is, whether it's health, fitness, personal development, anything, if I can do that, then that's awesome.
Yeah, I totally know that feeling. You gave me that feeling again tonight with telling me you're using my food recipe calculator. It motivates me to put 40 hours into building something else cool on Excel that helps solve problems in the world, But no, just inspiring people in general. Yeah. And like I said, you just never know who sees it, whether they like, comment, or not. You could have just changed somebody's life to get them active and on the same path that you're on. And so, anybody that, whether they're with us or not, that's not the main thing. Our overall goal is just to improve the quality of life of people. And I think that all starts with their health and their confidence. So, that's what we hope to do out there on the online world and in person as well. So, Tara, it's been honestly, a pleasure training with you in Hot Fitness. A pleasure having you in the 15-week challenge, and getting to talk to you tonight was awesome. You've done incredible work. I hope you continually move forward with wherever your transformation journey takes you. Just don't look back, and just keep moving forward. And there'll be obstacles along the way, and there might be times you have to find a modification, but that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you so much for the grand prize and the opportunity to do that, because it's it's amazing. I love it, and I'm taking full advantage of it. You know, everything that I can. So I
Yeah,
really appreciate it, and
and I
thanks for the food calculator.
yeah, you're so welcome. I'm so glad I built that now. Yeah. Great. Well, enjoy your last week with Courtney, or your last free week with Courtney. I don't know where the future is going to take you. So glad that you won. You worked your butt off, literally, for it, and you look amazing. And just
Thank
be
you.
staying healthy and enjoying your walks and rest when she tells you to rest. Okay.
I've listened.
Okay. Very good. Well,
All right.
I'll let you enjoy your evening, and we'll talk to you later. All right.
Thank you, Curtis.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.